£7.5 million, a knee slide, and Ryan Reynolds calling it a 9.7. The moment that might have just saved Wrexham's season, and nobody saw it coming like this. Alright Wrexham fans, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button because we're covering the Red Dragons like nobody else. Every goal, every signing, every bit of drama coming out of the racecourse. Now listen, 3 massive stories for you today. We've got academy news that shows where this club's heading long term. A brilliant community moment that'll remind you why Wrexham's more than just football. And then, trust me, you need to stick around for the last one. It's about our record signing, Ryan Reynolds, and a performance that could change everything. Let's get into it. Story 1. Craig Knight's back, and this is absolutely brilliant for the academy. Wrexham have just announced the return of Craig Knight as professional development phase lead coach. And if you know anything about youth development in Wales, you'll know this is a proper appointment. The man's got his UEFA Pro licence, spent a decade at the Football Association of Wales, working with everyone from under-13s right up to the under-19s, and he's just led Wales under-19s at the Euro Preparatory Tournament finals. But here's the thing, Knight's not some outsider parachuting in. He came through Wrexham's academy himself as a young lad, played under Brian Flynn, then went on to clubs like Bangor City and Buckley. After hanging up his boots, he came back to the racecourse in 2008 to coach the next generation before joining the FAW in 2015. Now he's home again. Academy manager Gus Williams was buzzing about it, saying Knight's appointment shows the serious intent this club has. And you can tell, can't you? With Reynolds and McElhenney pumping money into the first team, it'd be easy to forget about the academy. But they're not. They're building something sustainable here, something that'll keep producing talent long after the Hollywood spotlight fades.
Knights will be running the under-18s, helping those lads make the jump to the first team. And with Wrexham now in the Championship, that pathway's never been more important. We need homegrown talent breaking through. Lads who understand what it means to wear that shirt. But that's not the only news coming out of the racecourse. 3 of our under-18 scholars just gave back to the community in the best possible way. Sammy Chesworth, Joe Rees and Julian Widaki Estima recently visited a Street Dragons session. That's the Foundation's free football programme for 8 to 18-year-olds who might be at the risk of social exclusion or antisocial behaviour. And honestly, this is what Wrexham's all about. These 3 lads didn't just show up for a photo op, they got stuck in. Warm-ups, passing drills, small-sided games, the lot. They teamed up with the young participants, passed down their knowledge, and at the end, each scholar picked a player of the night and handed them some Wrexham training gear. Proper stuff. Joe Rees said afterwards that he'd never really considered coaching before, but now he definitely would. He learned that every kid responds differently. Some need compliments, some need criticism, and you've got to read the room. That's life skills, that is, not just football. Toby Rossiter, the Academy's head of player care, made a brilliant point. He said these boys spend 2 years as scholars and it flies by. So exposing them to the community, to the people who make this club what it is, that builds perspective. It develops the skills and values they need, whether they make it as pros or not. And look, Wrexham's story is mental, right? Hollywood owners, Disney documentaries, sold-out crowds every week. But at its core, this is still a working-class Welsh club that cares about its town. Moments like this prove it. Now those were big, but what I'm about to tell you next could completely reshape Wrexham's season. This is massive.
Ryan Reynolds just gave Nathan Broadhead a 9.7 rating for a knee slide. And mate, that goal might have just turned everything around. Wednesday night, Bristol City at the racecourse, Championship football under the lights. Wrexham won 2-0 and it was Broadhead who opened the scoring with an absolute screamer, a curling effort that had the crowd on the feet. Then came the knee slide. Textbook. Ryan Reynolds saw it, posted it on Instagram, and wrote, knee slide rating 9.7. Classic Deadpool. But here's why this matters way more than a meme. Nathan Broadhead cost Wrexham £7.5 million in the summer, potentially rising to 10 million with add-ons. That's a club record. That's Hollywood money. And up until Wednesday night, he'd been struggling. Let's be honest, the lad's had a stop-start beginning. 4 league starts, most of his appearances off the bench, and Wrexham fans were starting to whisper. Not because they don't rate him, everyone knows he's got quality, but because when you drop that kind of cash, you need to see it. You need goals, you need performances. And at Bristol City, we finally got one. Phil Parkinson said afterwards that Broadhead was very good with the ball, and that the goal typified what he was all about. That's manager speak for he finally turned up. The gaffer's been working with him on understanding the areas where he can be dangerous, and for the first 30 minutes, the lads were finding him with quality passes. He was involved, confident, clinical. Now here's what nobody's talking about yet. Wrexham are sitting 10th in the Championship right now, just 2 points off the playoff spots. 2 points! And they're on a 7-game unbeaten league run. This isn't some fluke, this is momentum. Remember where we were a few months ago? Tough start to the campaign, people asking if Wrexham were out of their depth in the Championship, whether the fairy tale was over. Well, it's not. And if Broadhead's finding his rhythm now, right when the fixtures pile up in December, that could be the difference between playoffs and mid-table. Think about it. Wrexham came from the National League to League 2 to League 1, and now they're in the Championship, mixing it with clubs like Birmingham, Huddersfield and Bristol City. That rise is unprecedented. But to push on, to genuinely challenge for the Premier League one day, which is what Reynolds and McElhenney want, they need signings like Broadhead to deliver. This isn't just about one goal, it's about confidence. It's about a £7.5 million player justifying his price tag. It's about showing the rest of the league that Wrexham aren't here to make up the numbers. They're here to compete. And Reynolds knows it. That Instagram post wasn't just banter. It was the co-owner sending a message. We believe in you, Brody. Now keep going. Parkinson's keeping everyone grounded, though. After the match, he said, we're not going to get carried away. I'd rather be where we are than any lower, but I'd still like to be higher. That's proper management. No hype, just process. But privately, he's got to be buzzing. What happens next is crucial. Wrexham face Blackburn at home on Saturday, 18th in the table, winnable game. Then it's off to Preston the following weekend. December's packed with fixtures, and if Broadhead keeps this form going, if the lads maintain this unbeaten run, we could be talking about a genuine playoff push by January. Here's my take. Broadhead needed that goal more than anyone. The pressure was building. £7.5 million is a lot of money for a club like Wrexham, even with Hollywood backing. One bad season and the doubters start circling. But Wednesday night, that was the turning point. That knee slide wasn't just celebration, it was relief. So there you have it. Craig Knight's back strengthening the academy, our under-18s are giving back to the community, and Nathan Broadhead just delivered the performance Wrexham fans have been waiting for, with Ryan Reynolds loving every second of it. Here's what I think happens next. Wrexham keep this run going, Broadhead bags a few more, and by Christmas, we're genuinely in the playoff conversation. That's the dream, innit? From non-league to the Premier League. It's happening, folks. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you buzzing about Broadhead, or do you still need convincing? Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Come on, you Reds!